Hey guys, I'm here at the museum still, and they have an exhibit here with William Kamkwamba. I'm totally butchering his last name. I'm sorry. Um, I saw the Netflix adaptation of his story. I don't know how true it was to real life. Build a windmill based on what he read in books at a library, and this windmill. So basically, what was happening is there was a drought in his part of Africa, and a lot of people were a lot of people were going to be very affected by this. Um, there was a lot of fear that a lot of people were going to starve. This was not a good situation. This young man, using knowledge that he learned from reading books, took a dynamo from a bicycle, built a windmill, and connected this to a car battery that he had salvaged, and he was able to create this electric windmill that basically saved his family's farm. And from how I understand the story, this helped provide food for hundreds of people and saved people's lives. And I think that's huge. I think that's a lot of the sort of values that I hold. It's a lot of the values that I've seen from authors like Ayn Rand and the objectivist philosophers, and it's something that I think people, that I value as a Christian. It's something that I think that other Christians should value is a lot more. Is using our minds. I'm looking around this room, and I am seeing all of these amazing innovators who have created new technology and started new companies. And it's something where I think that we should be doing a lot more of this. We should be doing a lot more of this in Christian communities, in our churches. We should be. Not everything should be about being a missionary. Don't get me wrong. I think that missionaries are great, but not everyone in the world is meant to be a missionary or a pastor. And I think that science and innovation is something that Christians invented modern science, for crying out loud. We looked at God's world and said, this is beautiful, this is wonderful. Christians invented the university system. They invented hospitals. They invented hospitals because they wanted to help the sick the way Jesus did. When they invented universities, it's because of a love for knowledge and a love for learning. And these days, so often we have sunk into an emotionalism, and that's unacceptable. It's actually unbiblical and sinful to be to be having it where your emotions dictate your life. Instead, we should be like this young man who thought in innovative, creative ways, who chose to learn, chose to want to understand, and learn about machines, learn about the physical world, learn about the reality that God created, and learn about the things um, that God has had people build. And a lot of that's life. You see this in the book Atlas Shrugged. You see this theme of um, man's what man uses to survive is his mind, and it's unacceptable that as a culture, the larger culture has given it this postmodernism, and so has the church. This idea of, oh, we can't say anything that might offend somebody. We can't contradict an idea that somebody else might have. Okay, let's just not. That's to say that is to say let's not think, and it is evil. It is wicked, and anybody who says this, it's evil. It's plainly evil to say let's not think. That is going to be a death sentence for billions of people. We need to start thinking. We need to start thinking a lot more. We need to start changing a lot of our attitudes. Look at this here. Why is it why is it that Christians aren't the main people building museums like this? I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I went to the Ark Encounter and the Creation Museum, and they were beautiful. But Christians ought to be known as intellectual people. We ought to be known as intellectuals, not as people who believe something because we feel it in our heart. We ought to believe We ought to be known as people who believe things because it is based on factual reality. So, cult formation. It's interesting. So, anyway, I think that's kind of what I have to say about that. Um, we should be different. And I think that's why I started. A lot of this is why I started greenslug.com. It's a lot of the stuff that I try to do. It's a lot of what I try to do with my online content, and it's a lot of what is being done by Cody Leibold and Jacob Brunton, and myself over at For the New Christian Intellectual. So, while it is their ministry, I have greatly appreciated collaborating with them, and you guys should check their stuff out. Anyway, hope you guys can hear this video all right. This is Greg, out.